If you're working a full-time job and trying to grow your channel, you know how hard it can be to find time to create. What if I told you it doesn't have to be that way? In this episode, I'm sharing some of the best strategies for how to create more videos in less time. So whether you're managing a 9-to-5, a side hustle, or you're just stretched thin, this guide is designed for busy creators just like you. I'm so excited to learn from both of you today. And we've synthesized a few of your tips. And we're going to kick it off with number one, which is plan ahead, schedule tasks, and stay organized. We're talking about how do we get all the different things done when it comes to YouTube. And let's start with you, Anja, because you talk about maintain a running list of video ideas and you kind of plan ahead when it comes to your content. Break some of your tips down that help you be more productive.
Well, I try to keep a running list. Sometimes I have one that goes 3 months out, and sometimes I don't even know what I'm going to do next week, honestly, but that's just, it's just life. And I try to work around the seasons. I mean, there's always something that I can do in the winter. People tend to not want to bake a lot of breads in the heat of the summer. So I'm trying to do some other videos like, seasonal content, summer berries, fresh cooking, that sort of thing. But I try to sit down every so often and come up with a list of ideas. Sometimes I do use vidIQ and I go in there and see what they suggest. I wouldn't necessarily use their ideas for, just like, oh yeah, I'm just going to make that exact video, but just to get my thought train going. And sometimes that really leads to another great idea. And yeah, I mean, I feel like the more ideas I can prep in advance, the better I feel about it.
And do you use any software? What do you use for calendar, or where do you write these ideas down?
Oh my gosh, I just have a stack of scrappy paper on my desk. I have little clips to keep them all together and keep them from flying or cats sitting on them and kicking them off. I'm a paper and pen gal. I have tried Trello, and I do actually use Airtable for my organizing all my affiliate codes and dashboards and what the products are, because right now I'm a member of a lot of affiliate programs and I use them for my blog posts and because I do have help, and so that helps me stay organized, but I don't really use anything for my video content ideas, and I use just pen and paper.
Awesome. Those are such great tips. And Shannon, you wrote something down that was super fascinating to me. I'm curious what you mean. Share any other tips on this whole idea of planning ahead, but you use this term central command. And so is that a way of staying organized? Break that down.
Okay. So Anja, I am total pencil and paper, exhibit A. This is my central command. So I love scheduling features on any platform. I am totally doing max scheduling features. Another thing that I do when I'm filming, my home base is. Let
me just so we're clear.
Yeah.
You use scheduling features like you want to make a video ahead of time and schedule upload it. And if you're uploading on social media, you're scheduling posts so you don't have to be there at that moment. Is that just to clarify?
Life-changing. Yeah. So I told my husband, I have this illusion that I'm everywhere, but I'm really nowhere. I'm sleeping.
This morning, someone said, dang, Sean, up early in California, because we posted at like 4 a.m. And then people are like, he scheduled the video. I'm sure he's still sleeping. I was still sleeping, but it appeared I was everywhere. Like, this guy never sleeps.
Yes.
So scheduling is so powerful.
It changes your life. So like right now, for example, all of my affiliate content is scheduled through the end of this month already.
Tell us about the timeline, because question number one is, are you doing this full time now? But what was the progression when you weren't, and what were you doing then? And what are maybe some insights from when this was a side hustle and you had to juggle other things, or were you able to go all in because of circumstances? Anja, do you want to start with kind of your timeline of now over 100,000 subscribers?
Yeah, I started as a side gig and I basically viewed it as a side gig, and I didn't pour all of, what I know now into it, but I thought like, oh yeah, I can do it. There was a little naivete involved for sure. And then I had a pretty traumatic knee injury that had me couch bound for a while. And I couldn't do what I was doing before. I was on disability, and I thought, well, maybe I'll just do this blog and YouTube thing full time now. And so I did.
I love that. And when was that kind of threshold of full time, would you say? Like now that YouTube became like, and blogging became this main thing for you after it being a side hustle to being like the main thing?
Yeah, in the summer of 2019.
Shannon, I'm curious your progression from side hustle to full time, and what just kind of the overview timeline was.
Well, I'm a registered nurse by profession. And so my husband and I, after our kids were grown and flown, we decided to downsize and move closer to his parents who are aging. We moved here in 2019, got in a rental we thought was temporary. We both had jobs lined up, and then COVID hit. We both had jobs in the healthcare profession, which ironically enough, we're not hiring in our segment because of COVID. So I took a job as a home health nurse and for pediatrics, and I was able to kind of do this on the side. I just thought this is a diversion for me. This is something I can do kind of therapeutically. I started for moms who were empty nest moms, and then it morphed into organization for people who had downsized like us, and mainly Gen Xers who had downsized from larger homes to smaller homes. And I kind of grew this following so that Labor Day I wrote this down because I had to kind of research, Labor Day of 2022, I actually went full time.
Amazing. Such an inspiring story, and cool to hear the progression. Okay. Let's bring Anja back up, and let's hit tip number 2, which is batch film videos when possible. And so in looking at your notes, you said you look at your videos and you see what batch recording is. Anja, what is batch recording for you? What does that look like? Describe the process.
Well, it's always a little bit different. So I have to see what I'm doing. If I'm just doing a single recipe in a video, then it's a pretty straightforward process. I try to just like have my, ingredients ready and think about any tools, and I have that ready. And it's a little bit nerve-wracking sometimes because especially when you're baking something and something is missing or you mess up, you may have to do it all over again. So that's when you also want to leave yourself enough time so that you can either run out to get more ingredients or, record it the next day when you have good lighting again. I mean, so all these kind of things to think about. But sometimes I have a video idea and I know that I need to record over a few days and I can't just do it all in one day. But I'm also thinking about, okay, so while I'm at this, is there something that I can use in another video? And it's a challenge to keep all your footage, because sometimes I go back, I can actually show footage that I had maybe recorded 6 months ago, because now all of a sudden it's relevant for a video that I'm doing on a completely different topic, but it's almost like, you can reuse it. So sometimes you have to just be a little creative and resourceful, and trying to figure out what works the best.
What is your experience with filming multiple videos in one recording session, or being more productive and efficient?
Definitely. And I don't always look this good. So if I have a day where I don't wear makeup every day, I don't do my hair every day. So if I have a day like today, I'm going to do some B-roll. I'm going to do some openings because I'm already, camera ready. So I try not to waste any opportunity. If I'm driving in my car and I'm going to a store where I know that, I could do some filming, I'll get a little B-roll there. And it makes everything so much easier because you're not starting from scratch every single time. So one thing that I've started doing in batches consistently is openings to my videos. And that goes to, and I'm sure Anja will agree with this, is to kind of getting your taglines. Like I always open my videos the same way. I always close my videos the same way. My thumbnails are pretty much getting a lot more consistent. And if I have to do something twice, I try to make a system around it, so that I don't have to rethink, the whole process every single time.
Such a good tip. And that kind of brings us to number 3. And we've covered a few of these, but Shannon, we'll come back to you first. You touched on, you say, I like to create systems for anything that I do twice. And so you've created like templates and just hit that one more time, even all the way down to like your newsletter, which is a little bit more advanced, but something that's very smart for YouTube creators to do. So what does this tip mean for you?
Well, I feel like we as humans, our world is so complicated that we crave consistency as human beings, whether we really know that or not. So anything that you can get for your channel that's the same every time, like you're going to change out, the writing on your thumbnail or whatever, but try to put your face on the same side of the thumbnail every time, maybe. Or try to start your video the same way. I have a tagline at the end of every video where I say, today is not the end of your story, so don't give up. And because I know that resonates with my audience. Now, are they going to watch the end every single time? No, but I always know how I'm going to end my video. I don't have to think about it. It's not awkward. I always start my videos with a quick win where I do something really quick that's an organizing tip, and my viewers come to know that, and I don't have to worry about, how am I going to start my video this time? I know, so those types of things around anything that you're doing more than twice, try to develop a template or a system, and not only for you and to streamline your work, but because your viewers crave it and they'll see you as an authority.
Such good advice. And let's jump into tip number 4, which is strategically repurpose your content. And so Anja, we'll kick it to you. I'm curious. There's a couple things that you do that overlap, but are also unique as individuals. You have your YouTube content, but you also have a blog and you also have a newsletter. And I'm not sure how active you are on social media. To you, how are you thinking about posting on multiple platforms? And at what point in time did you expand to that? Did you start everywhere, or did you start a little bit more narrow and then broaden up over time?
So the first question, I have started to think a little bit more about what portion of my long form content can I reuse as a short, because I have a cadence of uploading a video one a week every Tuesday morning, and that's been my schedule since early 2019. And somewhere along the line, I started adding the shorts, and every Sunday morning there comes out a short. I think I may have forgotten one because life got overwhelming. I'm like, oh my gosh, I never uploaded a short. Okay. So, but I try to think about what portion of my video can I repurpose as a short. And if I can't think of anything, I might just do a quick recipe, 30 seconds, like really short clips, like 2 seconds long, 3 seconds long, how to make the video, and then, find the full recipe in the comments or whatever. So that's helpful. And then I can use a short as a reel. Now I know that a reel on Instagram is different, performs differently than a short on YouTube. So sometimes I need to re-edit a little bit, or, sometimes I don't put the text on it and I do that later. So I have different texts for each platform. I do have Facebook. I don't have the video, whatever feature on Facebook. That's coming. I think when I started in 2019, I was on all the platforms. I don't necessarily recommend that because I think it's overwhelming when you're trying to be in all the places at once. I think the better advice would be to start with one platform, get comfortable, and then branch out to other platforms. Also, see where your folks are hanging out. I know that my peeps definitely are not on Instagram so much. So for me, it's like Instagram is sort of like the bottom of my list. There are more Facebook people, so I get a little bit better engagement or traffic from Facebook. And then my newsletter, 100%, because I have a weekly newsletter and I always give a shout out to my latest video, and I have really good engagement, people sending me back personal notes, and I really love that. And especially with my latest video, that was a lot of like personal little emails that I really, really love, the connecting with people, even though I never knew who they are, and it's just through the internet, but it's still, I can still feel it. So that's super fun about it.
You're sharing so many valuable tips and insights that we can learn from, especially about what the journey of the creator business really can look like. And I do want to encourage you, if you're listening to this, one, I hope you're inspired. Two, you also might be feeling a little bit overwhelmed, but I want to encourage you, this is a process. There's steps to this. As we're learning our 7-step system inside of Video Ranking Academy, we kind of came up with an 8th R, which is not just repeat, but also repurpose. But I think the thing is you go through this process is you're not going to go through this process at Shannon's level or Anja's level at day one, But as you keep going through, you might ask yourself on step 7, AKA 8, is it time for me to expand out? Or should I be careful and not expand out too soon? Let me just get comfortable with ranking videos. Let me get comfortable with this. And perhaps 3 months in, 6 months in, a year in, couple years in, then you start a newsletter. You don't have to do all the things all at once. Piece by piece, brick by brick, Rome was not built in a day. And so with that, I know that Shannon's got so many different pieces you're doing as well. How are you thinking about repurposing, being on multiple platforms? I think, do you also have a newsletter? And what are some of the different things that you're repurposing when it comes to your content?
I do have a newsletter. I'm getting almost a 50% open rate, which makes me so happy. And I will just say that in all this repurposing, what it comes down to is my audience. So I answer every single comment. I look at every single comment. I can still do that because my numbers aren't ginormous yet, but I try in everything I'm repurposing to remember who my subscribers are and who my viewers are. And never lose touch with that, because it's easy to do. When you start repurposing, you start getting on this treadmill. It's like, but it's really all about the audience. And if you're not connecting with your audience, you're going to lose your way for sure.
Man, that's encouraging. And you just perfectly teed up point number 5, which is embrace imperfection. And I want to hear a little bit from Anja on this, because you submitted and you talked about done is better than perfect, and don't let perfectionism slow you down. What has been your mindset that you've had to embrace when it comes to those that maybe deal with perfectionism? Have you struggled with that? Like, I want to put the perfect thing out there and I'm putting this on the internet and I'm vulnerable to everyone potentially in the world that would see this. How have you dealt with that mindset?
Oh, 100%. And what I have found is, so first of all, you got to really be very compassionate with yourself, and we're all human beings. And I often, when I make a mistake in a video and I catch myself early enough, like you did with your earlier burp, right? You just joke about it because everybody heard it, right? And if you pretend like it didn't happen, then it's kind of awkward. Then it's almost like a white elephant in the room. But you're like, oh my gosh, did that just come out of my mouth or something, right? You make a joke about it, then everybody can relax, they laugh about it, and then we can all move on from it, and it doesn't just linger. So I try to do that too. Sometimes I edit it out, or make a joke about it when I'm doing something with ingredients and I have ketchup flying through the kitchen. I'm like, oops, and I mean, we're all imperfect. And I think on some level, people love seeing that we're not perfect either, that we don't have the perfectly meticulously cleaned up spick and span home either, that we're human beings and we all have shortcomings and we're real. And I think they do want to, we tend to think that we need to present something perfect, but I think the audience relates more to us if we're also human and real and authentic, and they can feel when we're not authentic. And that, I think, is huge. When they're not feeling we're authentic, I think it's a huge turnoff. So I try to be really authentic and just myself. And I know I have flaws, but I embrace that, and I don't try to change myself, because then I just wouldn't be authentic anymore.
If you're ready to get serious about starting and growing a successful YouTube channel, then you're going to love vrapodcast.com. For a limited time, we have a special sale happening on our YouTube course and coaching membership that includes the online course, the 80-page workbook, and access to the private community. Inside of this program, you have everything you need for starting a successful YouTube channel all in one place. You get access to checklists and resources that will save you time, reduce stress, and help you reach your YouTube goals faster. But also, the most powerful part is the community. It's not just other creators and entrepreneurs that are ambitious and reaching for their goals, but it's also the Think Media faculty that's in your corner, answering your questions and helping you stay motivated on your journey to YouTube success. And for a limited time, we are running a big sale at vrapodcast.com. So if you want to check it out, just click the link in the show notes or go to vrapodcast.com. All right, let's get back into the episode. And number 6, optimize your routine for focus and productivity. They're so deep, we could go on each of these tips. And so let's just touch this one briefly, and we'll go back to Shannon to start. And this was kind of inspired because one of the things you do is you listen to Mozart sometimes when you're working, and you found that that's helped you with focus. It's helped you with productivity. I'm curious if there's any other thoughts you have, and then Anja will go to you in terms of setting up your workspace, creating an environment for productivity, or thinking about some of the enemies of that, maybe interruptions or distraction or clutter, especially from the decluttering experts. So what are your thoughts on this tip, Shannon?
Well, I find that clutter can be in your environment as well as in your mind. And one of the best things that I was able to do to get focus on what I'm doing, because I struggle with feeling guilty. You know, I should be doing the laundry. I should be cooking dinner. I should be doing this, that, and the other. I really sat down and have a conversation with my husband. And I said, hey, I need to know, are we on the same team here? Because I'm going to have to neglect some things. Are you okay with that? And he was 100% behind me. So all of that was just built up in my own mind. And, you know, through this time of doing this, we have negotiated that a lot where, you know, we've divided and conquered things. But yeah, for me, one thing that really helps is to have a dedicated workspace. Like you saw in that video, it used to be a walk-in closet. So literally, I started with my workspace in a closet. Now I have a bedroom that I've converted, but you know, that didn't happen all of a sudden. So carve out a tiny spot. It might be a corner of your bedroom. That's okay, but that's where you work, and you don't have to reset it up every single time.
Man, such a great tip. And then Anja, for you, where you edit your videos or where you set your videos up, is there anything that you do in your routine to get focused, get in the zone, get maybe in the mood for content creation?
Yeah, I agree with Shannon. I need to sit at my desk, and I need to clean my desk, because then I can actually really focus and I don't have everything else sitting there and pulling at my attention. So that definitely helps. But I have also, and I know this might segue into another tip later, but I have also reluctantly hired a housekeeper, because part of what I do on my channel is, you know, teaching homemaking. And so I feel like I wanted to be I can do it all. But you can't. There's just no way. And I had to make a decision between being more productive in terms of content creation, or actually, you know, being I can do it all and clean my own home. But that's not really where my talent is or where the money is. So I hired a housekeeper, and she comes and helps me clean the home. And that's really great, because then I can stay focused on the content creation and don't get pulled away and do tasks that I don't have to do. I mean, it's sort of like, what can I do that I can only do, and what are some things that other people can do that I don't need to do? And that definitely helps me to focus and stay on the task and stay on what I'm trying to do and be productive.
Man, such great tips. Tip number 7 is rank videos to grow your channel on autopilot. One of the things we've been learning in this challenge is the power of ranked videos. You know, we use a tool called vidIQ, for example, and if you go to somebody's channel, you can see view trending videos. And at this moment, we could see a couple of videos here that are getting VPH on our gabled home, Anja's channel. And she has a 4-year-old video that's getting 25.9 views per hour. It's going to hit 1 million views. A 4-year-old video is still getting 25 views per hour. And so I'm curious, Anja, you, of course, you're making new content. You love doing this. You're going to impact the world. But what have you experienced in terms of seeing the power of YouTube? Maybe also compared to your posting Instagram reels. I have a feeling you don't have a 4-year-old Instagram reel that's still getting views today. What have you learned about this power of ranking videos for really creating this creator business lifestyle?
So yeah, I want to inject here, because you show that video that's going to hit 1 million views. That was a talking head video that I recorded when I just couldn't figure out what to do next. So I sat down and I talked about something. And yeah, it's a little bit wordy. And some people have complained that, you know, they could have compressed the 8-minute video into 4 minutes or something. I agree 100%. but there's got to be something about that video that it's going to hit 1 million. And I could have never, the moment I recorded it, I could have never known that that would be my most popular video. So that's why I would say to people, just record that video. You never know how it's going to hit, and you never know how popular it's going to be until you actually do it. And, and like Shannon said, sometimes you need to experiment. And sometimes, I've had videos that I have prepped really well, that executed really down, great production value, and they just basically crickets, and sometimes you just don't know. But I think at the end of the day, it kind of evens out. And when you stick with it and stay consistent, then, and then also, you also have to upload so many videos to figure out, who you're talking to, but also what works for your channel, and to get some metrics back from the YouTube Studio, for example. And they need so much data before you can actually evaluate it. And that's where you need to have at least like 10 or 20 videos before you can figure out, okay, this is really hitting home, or, this is going to be popular. And then, like you said, successfully, clumsily make number twos. I've made so many sourdough videos, and most of them do really well.
We talked about answer specific questions, and sometimes they seem basic, or they seem simple, or they seem like, just kind of, I don't know if this video is going to be good or not. But when you shoot the video, now Anja's got almost 1 million views on a video she didn't think would have done very well. And Shannon, when I look at your channel, it's just so inspiring, because we look at, a year ago, you posted a video, and with my vidIQ over here on the side, it just keeps going up and up and up. You posted this video a year ago, but it just keeps getting views. I don't know if you could see that challenge. It's kind of on the right side of the screen, this little graph right here, right? That's the dream. We call it that rocket R. That 5th R is like a rocket launch, just continuing to get views for weeks, months, and even years to come. What is your thoughts on YouTube compared to other platforms and this power of ranking videos?
Well, definitely. It's like investing. You have some investments that you just kind of put in the bank and watch them grow. And then you have others where it's a quick turnaround. And YouTube is bar none the best investment. So I can break up all those videos, and I have, and repurpose them on other platforms for quick hits. And honestly, a lot of that is to build up brand partnerships so that they can get a little kind of an hors d'oeuvre or a tasting of what I can offer them. And when they start seeing, hits on these other platforms, then they're interested in being incorporated into my long form videos. But I'll also add that closet video, I made that thing and it was crickets for about a month. I thought it was a great video. I was really proud of it. I loved it. And I thought, oh, gee, I'm way off. And then next time I turned around, it's taken off. So don't judge your videos too quickly. Let it percolate a little bit, put it in the crock pot, walk away, keep doing your thing, and then you never know.
Number 8 is earn money in multiple different ways beyond ad revenue, beyond YouTube AdSense. I saw some people talking earlier in the chat about once you get 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 hours of watch time, you can monetize with YouTube ads. But I'm curious, at Our Gabled Home, what are the different ways? Are you only making money in one way, or do you have multiple streams of income that you've built when it comes to monetizing your channel?
Yeah, I have yet to count the various revenue streams that I have, because I have too many that I can just tell you all of them. But the AdSense is a piece of it and not necessarily the biggest chunk. And I would have to break up a pie chart how much that is. But then, I have affiliate links, and Amazon is a really easy one because everybody is on Amazon. And so it's just really easy to just, have a product on your video, and then you just pop in your affiliate link in the description box. People love that because they often ask me, oh, where did you get this? Or where did that come from? Then, because so many people were asking me questions about my sourdough stuff, I thought, okay, so, I don't have time to answer all those questions. So let's make a dedicated course where I go into depth and teach people how to do it. So that's a course, and that's making money. I have an apron pattern that I sell. That's a digital product that I sell. I'm a reseller for the mock mill grain mills. That makes a lot of money. And I have another digital product that I sell. And then, I do some very selected partnerships and brand deals, because I turn down maybe 90% of the offers because they just don't drive from my audience, or I'm not standing behind the product and I don't want to sell my soul. So I'll just pass on and say, nope, thank you. It doesn't work for me. I'm not going to peddle doormats when I'm doing sourdough. It's just not happening. Yeah. And I'm trying to think what else.
Well, already people probably like, whoa, because again, sometimes we could just think about, I hope I get monetized and then I could start making money.
Right.
There's so many opportunities. I'm curious from you as well. You're doing many different things, but one of my specific questions is sometimes we think of Amazon as one of the only, right? Or maybe like, okay, Amazon, or I'm not approved for it yet. But I was snooping around in your description and I saw Shop LTK, I saw Our Style. What are like, how many different affiliate programs are you a part of? And what is like this Our Style and some of these different things that we are looking at beyond Amazon in terms of how you're making money?
Well, about 1.5 years ago, I was accepted into the LTK program, which is Like to Know It. And it is almost exclusively women. That probably will change in the future, but they make it extremely easy to attach affiliate links to any product from most major retailers. So they do collaborate with Amazon, but they don't show all your sales figures from Amazon. So I have really morphed into doing most of my work with LTK because they are so creator centric. They make it really easy for me, but I can list things from Walmart, Amazon, all different retail stores. And I use that to monetize any products that I use in my videos. Sometimes I'll do, like I did a pantry exclusively with Walmart organization products. I linked all of those through my LTK store. So that's another platform that I can, grow this little audience. And I use it in my newsletter and refer my audience and say, hey, if you missed some of the things that I was using in my videos, you just have to go to one shop. And that's my LTK shop.
Number 9 is outsource strategically. I'll kind of just catch us up here to save a little bit of time. Outsource strategically, Anja was talking about how she has hired like a housekeeper. And one of the biggest tips could be, you might say, can I hire a video editor? That's great, sometime on your journey. But the other thing is like, what if you just hired somebody else to do something that's a little more clear? Like, oh, if I can, house cleaner is a little bit more clear. I could get on TaskRabbit, or I could find somebody from care.com or something. And now I have a few hours back because maybe you're going to be the better person to edit your content. So sometimes it's like, could you delegate or outsource things that are maybe more simple and clear for you to handle the more complex YouTube stuff? Like you're the one who's mastering the VRA system. You're the one who's learning storytelling and marketing. Those are some hard skills to outsource. And also remember, there's steps to this. You might be like, outsource? How could I hire anybody else? I need to hire myself first. But over time too, this could be enlisting somebody that's maybe even in your family to help you. And I'm curious, Shannon, this is a recent change, but you just got your husband involved. Like, what have you been thinking as far as kind of delegating and outsourcing things?
Well, let me just tell your viewers, first of all, I'm 58 years old. If I can do this, you can do this. I did not come from the tech generation, and I tell my kids all that all the time. They're 24 and 25. I'm like, if I can do it, you can do it. So that's number 1. But yeah, we just brought him on part-time because he has a marketing background, and we're looking towards retirement, and we want to build this up as something that's going to take us into our sunset years. So he's got a genius brain for marketing, and we just recently put him to work part-time as my brand, marketing person. So I've been taking some inbound brand partnerships, but he is researching some outbound, some brands we're going to start pursuing a little bit more aggressively. And I will add to that, if you decide to hire a housekeeping person or anyone to help you, or a meal service, see if you can get a brand partnership for that, and you can write it off on your taxes.
One of the leadership lessons I've learned is delegate or die. It sounds intense, but it's like at certain phases in your journey, if you don't start delegating, start at least thinking about systems, tools like AI, maybe a house cleaner, maybe getting your family involved, reworking the structure and systems of your life, then you really can break down. And we're so passionate, our mission is to help 1 million purpose-driven people create a full-time living doing what they love while making a difference in the world with YouTube, and to experience that success without losing their soul. And we can see, of course, a spiritual side of that, but there's a practical side of that. Like, I don't want to burn out on the journey. I don't want to break down physically on the journey. And so I need wisdom at every step. And so share some love. And I hope you've been getting value from the tips from our guests, because tip number 10 really kind of ties into that. Pace yourself. YouTube is a marathon and not a sprint. And so let's go to Anja. And Anja, what have you learned about prioritizing well-being, pacing yourself now over the years of building a YouTube channel, and the importance of maintaining maybe a healthy work-life balance?
Yeah, I mean, in the early days, I was watching other creators, and there was one who was pumping out 2 videos every week. And I thought, oh, if she can do it, I can do it, right? But I couldn't. I had to be honest with myself. And I found that it was too overwhelming. I was like, I was constantly, between content creation and content editing and uploading, and, it just felt too much. And I thought I would burn out if I kept up that cadence. And I dialed it down to 1 video a week. And for me, that's been super sustainable. So first of all, I would say just be realistic, because nobody wins anything if you burn out and, you just, scrap the whole thing and don't create any more videos. So find a cadence that works for you, and make it super sustainable. And sometimes also stepping back when you feel like you're not really sure about your why. That's sometimes important. Why am I even doing this? To remember your why. And I had another whole talk with somebody else about how you can have even like a sticky note on your screen, or a screensaver that talks about your why, so that you keep that motivation to keep going. Because I will tell you, I have holes, I have dumps when I'm like, I really don't, now I need to record another bit, and that's real. I mean, we all have that. And if you can connect back to your why, and but sometimes you just need a little break. And I think it's also okay to tell your audience, I'm taking the summer off for my family. They understand, and I'm taking the summer off for my own mental health, and they understand that too. And so I also wanted to say, as Shannon was saying earlier, hey, if she can do it, anybody can do it. And I always tell people, if I can do it, anybody can do it, because otherwise I'm right behind Shannon. And my kids always joke, because they're like, Mom, you're just not the typical YouTuber. And I mean, who is the typical YouTuber these days, right? And I'm super lucky, because I have a son who works al gato. So he sometimes feeds me stuff, he feeds me products, and he helps me because he's much more plugged in. But it's an industry where things change all the time. And sometimes that is a bit of a curse, because I have to learn another thing and I have to learn something else. And but on the other hand, it just keeps us fresh. It keeps us learning new stuff, and it keeps our minds sharp. And so there's so much fun in it too. And I mean, at the end of the day, it is a bit of a job. And every job has aspects that you enjoy a lot about it, and then has aspects that you don't enjoy about it. So it's just like that. But if you can embrace it, I mean, it has so many upsides, and the flexibility, and, doing it for yourself. And I mean, it's super fun. And if you're passionate about it, find something that you're really passionate about. Because if you're not passionate about your niche, then you will burn out. But if you can talk about sourdough all day long, like I can, then, you never run out of topics. It's really, or if super passionate about organizing like Shannon, I'm sure, and being in a closet and making that closet more functional, then, you never really run out of ideas. There's always something else you can do.
Give us a few final thoughts on this work-life balance, protecting your mental health and physical health, and kind of your wisdom.
Well, I would say that it's important to put up some barriers with your time. So I take Sundays off every week. Try to have as little contact with my phone. I don't get on any socials. I try to put the phone in the other room at 6 p.m. every evening. Sometimes my husband has to take it out of my death grip. But I told him he has permission to do that. That's 6 p.m. After that is our family time. I will tell you, you will last a lot longer if you set up some of those parameters, and also reward those who love you and who are making the sacrifices for you to do this. Make sure that when you get a brand partnership, you share something good with them, so that they don't just see the sacrifices, they also see the blessings that are coming from all of this.
So good. And shout out your channel. How can we connect with you, follow you, anything you want us to know about today?
My handle is at Shannon Skip to My Life on Instagram and Facebook. My channel is Shannon Skip to My Life. And if you are on LTK, at Skip to My Life with underscore between each word. I would love to have you check me out if you're looking for ways to help get your house organized, your life organized. If you're interested in a little bit more one-on-one help, you can join my membership. And if you want 14 pages of free household labels, you can click on that in my description box and you will automatically be signed up to my newsletter. And like Anja said, I love to interact with you. So please let me know how I can help you.
Awesome. Well, Shannon, I appreciate you so much. And thank you for sharing your wisdom today. If you enjoyed this podcast and are ready for some deep dive YouTube strategy, just go to thinkmasterclass.com to get access to my 1 hour on-demand YouTube strategy class. You'll be looking over my shoulder as I share my best tips, and you can watch it on demand right now at thinkmasterclass.com.